Thank you. I'm Canada with the South African Council. Would you elaborate further on how African countries can revitalize the agricultural sector and gain more access to the market?
Thank you very much. I think one of the things that is clear about agriculture is that we have generally lower productivity or low productivity in agriculture. Agriculture really is very scientific in today's world. You are looking at yields per acre depending on the type of seeds you put in, the types of fertilizer you apply, the type of soils you plant in. So the science that will go into agriculture is very, very important. And if you don't pay attention to the science of agriculture, you will just be planting and not reaping. And so I think that if you're going to go, and this is why we are in Ghana, we are talking about a Marshall Plan, and we're going to look at various country experiences and learn the best from what we're doing. What we're saying to, I would say to other African countries is that what we are trying to do has already been done in many other places. So there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Let's look at the best experiences globally and adopt those best experiences for our own situation. And I think this is what we want to do. Other countries have done the green revolution, and we can do it. We have the water, we have the soils, we have the land, and so there's nothing really that should stop us. The science is available globally and locally, a lot of research institutions. So I think this is where we want to go, to make sure that the infrastructure is available in terms of irrigation, in terms of storage, and in terms of fertilizers, so the farmers have access to those. So I think the roadmap or for what you do to increase agricultural productivity is there. We just need the will to make sure it happens, and that is what we have to do.
Hello there. Thank you very much for the question. Daniel Johnson on Radio TV. It was interesting hearing you talk about the development and focusing on not just modern technology and infrastructure, but also agriculture. But where is the money going to come from to pay for all this? I suppose it's a dream list. And how are you going to form those partnerships?
Well, thank you very much. I think that fundamentally, in terms of the whole development agenda, money is always going to be a problem because the wish list is very large, but the constraints are there by the budget. But I think that for the most part, governments tend to take on too much and believe that they are supposed to do everything. But in fact, if you then structure the economy properly, the private sector will do so much more than what government can actually do. And so we are looking at, for example, in the area of infrastructure, we are saying that before you invest in any project, ask yourself, why can't the private sector do this project? If you answer that question, it's likely because you haven't structured that project properly enough to make it bankable. And if you structure it properly enough to make it bankable, the private sector will do it. And so we believe that with both private and public partnerships, you can get a lot done in infrastructure, in agriculture, in education, in healthcare. But you've got to be committed to prioritize certain things. We want to do free secondary school education in Ghana. It's going to be costly, but the cost without it is even higher. So we say that we will prioritize it and make sure that we have the funding for it from the budget. But in all of this, you cannot be profligating your expenditures. You have to keep within the budget envelope. And so in Ghana, for example, we are saying that there should be no budget. We're passing a law that takes the budget deficit beyond 5% in any year. And so that will be a rule. And it is within this that you are trying to do. But let's rely on the private sector, and then government will not have to burden itself and its people as much. Yeah.
So you did mention agriculture, but also the need to prioritise. But isn't there a sense that they're going to be left behind if they are the reproducing element of the economy? How are you going to keep them in the loop?
Keep who in the loop?
The farmers, the agricultural sector.
Well, agriculture, as far as we're saying that next year, for example, Ghana is going to implement a Marshall Plan for agriculture. That means that the farmers are actually going to be in the loop and driving that whole loop forward. So you're not going to be left behind at all. In fact, our success depends on their inclusion. And in fact, the whole idea, they are very central, the whole idea of increasing productive capacity depends on inclusion. For the most part, many African countries have tried to develop by excluding a large number of people from various areas. And if you do that, it means you are definitely not going to develop capacity because you're leaving a lot of people behind, whether it's women, whether it's people in the rural areas. You've got to be inclusive. And that inclusiveness is what we are trying to do. So the farmers will be included, the kids who are going to school will be included, the rural folks will be included. So I think that our focus on agriculture is one of inclusiveness. They are not going to be left behind. They are going to be in the driver's seat, actually. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.